Hello everyone, it's Earthrise here and welcome to another video. First of all, a little bit of housekeeping. As I mentioned in some of my previous videos, I was meant to go to the NEC Toy Fair on Sunday. Unfortunately, due to the storm that hit the UK and the terrible winds and rain and all that kind of stuff, I didn't actually make it there. It was just, the roads were just too bad for me to drive there and I didn't feel safe doing so. So unfortunately, I didn't make it. But for that negative, there is a couple of positives. My friend James, Summer1980 on Twitter, actually got me an item which I'll share with you when I pick it up from him, because I haven't got it off him yet. And it also meant that I had a little bit of money which I had put to one side to spend, and I bought myself some online purchases. So the first of those purchases arrived today, and it's in this box. And you'll know what it is because you've seen the thumbnail of this video. But it's my first Earthrise figure. I'm really excited to have it. Ordered it from a local website. It's actually based in Wolverhampton called Comics and Cocktails. I've bought stuff from there before, been really impressed with the service. Nice bit of bubble wrap there. And you can see the Earthrise packaging. It's always exciting when there's a new wave of exciting when there's a new wave of Transformers coming out, and you get the first one. And it's normally it's the Voyagers or the Deluxes you pick up first, not the leader. For some reason they had the leaders in stock and not the Deluxes, which is a bit odd. I'm just having a quick look at him now, and he looks very, very nice. The silver paintwork on the face of mine doesn't look the best, to be honest, but never mind. Let's have a look at the box anyway. We are going to switch into review at some point, so I might do hands in front of the camera so you can see him. But there's your packaging. There's Optimus there, strapped down in the middle. Really odd way to package him. You've got some nice artwork of Prime there. You've got the beautiful CGI artwork there, which I think I'm excited about the most is this guy here. And some pictures of him on the back. So I've got him out of the box. First impressions feel really, really nice. There's an odd bit of paint, and I don't know if you can see it on camera. There's an odd bit of paint distribution. It's not quite flat, which is really, really odd. It feels flat, but the paintwork just doesn't look even. But that's okay. I mean, it doesn't look bad as such. It's just noticeable when the light hits it. He's a relatively big fella, not too heavy. He's not the heftiest of things. His legs are very long. That's my first view of it, is that the legs are very long. And my second, so he looks great. I have to say, he looks great. I'm really, really happy with how he looks so far. Couple of observations. I think these hands will break if you're not careful. I'm not a fan of that pin, and I can really see potentially those breaking, especially the thumb. I can really, really see that. And I'm controversial here. I would have preferred just moulded hands. Yeah, but there you go. All in all, though, it looks very nice. Looks very, very nice. There may be an element of customisation I'll do on this guy. I'm not too happy with how that paint is on. So yeah, I mean, I'm not too happy with that faceplate. It doesn't look the best to me. It's really odd. I can't explain it. It just looks off. Yeah, I need to have a look at that. So anyway, shall we have a closer look at Optimus and see what we think of it? Before we have a look into the figure a little bit closer, what I have noticed is there is this backing piece of paper, and you get like the old school tech spec readers with it. And if you pop it over this section here, you can see it says Micron. Don't know what that means. But it's a cool little throwback nevertheless to G1 and the old tech spec readers. So let's have a look at Optimus himself. And as I mentioned earlier, this paint distribution here on this silver faceplate doesn't look flat to me. It doesn't look necessarily bad, but it looks far from great as well. That is a little bit poor. I'll be honest, I'll be completely transparent, I'm not happy with that, and I might have to repaint that. And some of the eyes were an odd choice, not to have them a brighter blue. They're a little bit lost. If I'm honest, in person you can barely see them. I think that needs some potential work as well. So this head, which I think is on a ball joint, can't quite lift it off, will need a little bit of work. Not a great start, Hasbro. Not a great start. The rest of him looks really, really nice. Let's have a look at articulation. Head can do a full 360. Arms can also do a full 360 and go out that far. You have a bend at the elbow. You have a twist at the wrist. And you also have this hand movement, which I mentioned previously. I think that thumb will break eventually if you're not careful, and I think this will be floppy and loose. So what you might find you may have to do at some point is stick a bit of glue on there to hold that hand shut. I would have personally preferred just a solid fist. I don't think this actually does anything at all for the figure, in my opinion. You have a waist rotation that can go that far because of his bum wheels. I like what they've done with the skirt. The fact it's part of the leg, it doesn't hinder movement, so you can get that kind of movement. You get a great bend at the knee, and you can get a rocker, which is good. So, body, apart from his legs being slightly long, really impressed with. The head, I would have preferred another sculpt. I would have preferred it to be the same colour blue. I would have preferred some even paint on the face. And I hate to say it, I would have preferred those yellow eyes because they are too dark. All in all, though, it's fine, I suppose. It's not too bad. I just think it might need a little bit of work that you shouldn't do, really. You shouldn't have to touch up that paintwork and fix that problem, which is a shame. In addition, you do get some accessories. So you get his gun, which can fold over. Don't like this peg. Again, being transparent, I don't think there's any need for it really. You've got a handle here. I know we want to put ports in and all that kind of stuff, but I think aesthetically that's a bit poor. Don't like that peg. And here is his trailer, and I'll move it back a little bit. It is essentially a lump of grey plastic. You can see the vehicle mode stripes on the back. You do get this thing, this repair drone, which looks cool. It is Siege compatible. And I'm going to do sorry, Siege compatible. It's Blast Effects compatible. And you can take this part off, and also this part of the door. And if you so wish, you can put a shield on his arm. You can pop this part on his back, and obviously pop his gun in that hand like so. And there you go. You can have that look going on if you really want. No, tar. No thanks. Okay, you do get another thing. His chest opens. I haven't worked out how you do it yet, but it does open, trust me. How do we do this? There we go. And there is a teeny tiny matrix inside, which can come out. He says he's coming. There we are. So that matrix comes out, and it is nice. It is pretty nice, and I suppose you can get him to hold that if you so wish. It's going to have to be like this, I'm afraid. Let's suppose this is where the open hands do help a little bit, because you can actually grab this thing. So you could have that look going on, which is pretty cool. Yeah, okay. That's it, really. I'm a little bit gutted about that face. I really am, and it shouldn't bother me that much, but it really is bothering me, and I think it'll bother me until I try and fix it. And here is Optimus Prime all transformed up. Must say, loved that transformation. I thought it was amazing. Very reminiscent in place of G1 and also of MP10. You can definitely see where Hasbro got their influences from. Weird design choices are the wheels. You've got some nice silver wheels here that are painted, and then unpainted wheels here that are of a different design. Why? Doesn't make much sense. You have a port here which randomly appears, not quite sure what that's for. These are meant to pop out, but they very rarely stay in place. They look good when they're out, but actually if they do fall in, does it really matter? You can still kind of see the effect. His gun can be stored by folding it over and sticking it in that gap like so. So you can have that look going on if you wish. And of course, he does come with his trailer. And his trailer does have some soft plastic stands, so you can keep it like that if you do wish. And it does plug into the port there, which looks really cool. I think the trailer is a little bit lackluster, but there you go. I think it looks perfectly fine. I think it's a great representation of Prime. The wheels are just a weird choice for me. Very, very weird choice. You can also store the gun inside here if you so wish. But yeah, I think this man works. It does work. Let's get rid of the trailer a second. Let's bring in his spiritual brother, his older brother, Siege Prime. And you can't really see it from this angle, but this guy is bigger. You can see that Siege Prime here is bigger than Prime. This figure is better overall, but when I got this guy for the first time, I was like, wow, this thing is a game changer. It's amazing. This, I haven't got that feel with it. It might be because of the slight paint issue I've got with his face. But it feels like the excitement about how great this was, this is a little bit of the same. I don't know. For me, maybe it was a bit of an odd choice not to have a different head sculpt altogether. Now you can take this trailer, and you can plug it in here if I've transformed it right, which I have not. There we are. I've kept them closed so that can plug in there. And you can have that lot going on if you want to use the trailer on Siege Prime. I think that looks okay. That's not too bad at all. Next to another deluxe, here is him and Prowl, if you want to have a look at those. I always tend to compare the Siege and War for Cybertron figures to Prowl, because he's one I just keep in that car mode. So yeah, I think vehicle mode is a pretty decent success. So here is a size comparison with Siege Optimus Prime and the Earthrise version. And I'll bring up these nice and close. You can see these are the same head sculpts. However, you can see that the nose is painted on this one, and the silver around the eyes, where under the Earthrise figure it's just blue plastic. And I think that's half the problem with this head sculpt. Yes, this paint is a little bit uneven, but it's just not as good as the Siege Prime. But there is a remedy for that. much better. So, I was actually really worried about this head sculpt because I really didn't. It's not the head sculpt; it's a paintwork on it. It's the design choices on it. The fact that silver background, the eyes are too dark, it just wasn't working for me. And because there wasn't that detail on there, and there's these paint defects on there as well, it wasn't working for me. And it overshadowed how great this figure is. So I swapped the old heads there. It does still transform with this head because it's exactly the same head sculpt. This guy is going to stay in truck mode anyway. So my Earthrise Prime has had a head transplant. Not the first time I've done that. I've done this with Thundercracker and Starscream, so I can get the smirk on there. I think this works better. If you've got a Siege Prime and you are keeping Siege Prime, then I think this is a decent way to make your leader class figure a lot better. I think this is probably the best articulated G1-esque interpretation of Optimus Prime that we have had. I feel that the leader price point is excessive for him for just this piece of plastic. I feel that this head is just shite, to be honest with you. But luckily he was able to redeem himself with a head transplant. This has been my first dive into Earthrise, and I know it might seem really petty with the paintwork on this head, but it's the fact that the top of it isn't painted as well. It just isn't the best, and that has overshadowed what would have been and what is an amazing figure, an amazing interpretation of one of the most iconic toys ever. It's got some great homages in there in the transformation, some great updates. I just think, unfortunately for me, the fact that I've had to swap a head with another figure to make it look decent has taken the shine off it for me. Maybe on hindsight, looking back, because this is a figure I've just taken out the packet, don't forget, I feel a bit different about him. I was really excited about Earthrise. It's taken the shine off it a little bit. Maybe I'm being dramatic, I don't know. It's been a long bloody day. I'll have a play with him and see how I think. As a toy, I recommend him, but just the sad thing is the little QC things that Hasbro keep creeping back in have happened to me on this one. One thing I will say, and I have noticed it, people are commenting on Twitter about the fact that these figures do not have screws. Well, if my eyes don't mistake me, they have screws. They do have some rivets, but let's face it, it's the hips that are always loose, and those are screwed. So there you go. Anyway, I know this video is a little bit up and down and hodgepodged and all that kind of stuff, but you've seen Earthrise Prime now, and I'm going to have a play about with him and see what I really think. Is it a recommend? I'll let you know. I need to let that annoying face wear off a little bit. But until next time, I've been Zork Rider, and I'll catch you again soon.